Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Forever United TV on tour, back from the Canaries, your evening update, and it is all about Manchester United spending big. Keegan of the Daily Mail has been out and he has been informing everybody online about Manchester United. He was probably one of the first today to actually go in on the Matheus Cunha announcement, the official announcement, but he has also done a story on how much Manchester United have got available to them to spend, and then what United are expecting to get in terms of sales. We're going to get into all of that and what that means, because there is some side stories from it as well regarding Bryan and Mbeumo and obviously Manchester United's pursuit of him. This is hotting up with Bryan and Mbeumo now, and of course there is a lot depending on Victor Gyokeres as well and the situation with him. There's a video going around about Bruno Fernandes celebrating with Saudi Pro League player Cancelo. He is very good mates with him. Do we need to make much of it? It's kind of a coincidence, isn't it, though, that Bruno is with... is it a coincidence? I mean, you tell me. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. But also want to bring up Bruno Fernandes' situation and where his stance is with Manchester United as well. Interesting one there, and something that people are not really picking up on in this whole Bruno saga so far. So we'll talk about that. Manchester United's plan for Kobbie Mainoo as well. I've made it very clear my thoughts on Kobbie Mainoo, and it looks like, going off these reports that I'm going to talk about, he is getting on with it. So we'll see on that one, and we'll get your opinions, of course, in the live chat regarding Kobbie and what you think this extra news coming out means and where we're at with him. And of course, obviously, I want your input in general on everything from today. We covered the Matheus Cunha news earlier on in a video, the price of Alejandro Garnacho, the mystery midfield loan buys that Manchester United might have to go in for if they don't sell Bruno Fernandes. We can bring that into the live show and get your thoughts. I've got tons of messages on them videos already, but I want to gauge where you're at as well while we're live. So if you want to pile in on that, give me your comments there. We'll try and open up a decent section tonight for the live comments. But let's get into the news from Mike Keegan, who broke it earlier on. Well, it wasn't so much breaking. I think we've all been guessing and second guessing about how much money Manchester United can spend. Where has the money come from Matheus Cunha and United making that signing? It is a fantastic day for Manchester United to be able to sign someone like Cunha, and that was the whole point of my video earlier on. Not so much like it is official and blah-de-blah-de obvious. I wanted to sort of put out a statement on my, well, give my opinion more to the point on Matheus Cunha and how important a signing this could be for Manchester United. Amongst all of the negativity and everything that's going on at the football club at the moment, fans are forgetting how good a signing that actually is for Manchester United. So, yeah, that was my video earlier on. You can go and watch that after you've finished here. But fantastic day for United so far on the opening day of the window. Cunha in, official. He's off on international duty. So anyone wondering why we didn't have a big unveiling and a video or anything like that, it's because he's with Brazil, like all the other international players. So United cannot do any photography or real videography or anything like that as this big welcome to Manchester United video or anything. I really don't give a shit about that crap, to be honest. Sign your contract and let's start playing football. He's done. I don't need to get any big fanfare garbage promo video going out about a signing for United. It just takes me back to the days of bleeding Alexis Sanchez playing a piano on the Old Trafford pitch. Like, whoa, shivers down the spine when you think back to them days of Manchester United in the transfer window anyway. And look where we are now. Right, in terms of that budget, and I know this is it's gonna bring up a few different opinions in terms of what Manchester United can spend, how much it is. Is it enough? No, it's not enough. Apparently, it's 125 million without selling players. I think that's substantial considering the amount of shit that we're in right now. Half of it has just been spent pretty much on Matheus Cunha, and now we're looking to spend the other half of that on another forward. He also went into detail on Manchester United's priority list. We've all got our own priority list. Mike Keegan said it is number 9, then it is a number 10, and then it is a number 8. They are the priorities for Manchester United. We had another story going around this morning that it was a winger as well. United will, and a lot of people from that quote I've seen online have gone in and got a little bit worried about the goalkeeping situation. Why are we not rectifying the keeper situation? Why are Manchester United not going in for another goalkeeper? I'll touch on that in a moment, but Bryan Mbeumo seems to be the name that just bang pops up onto any sort of news headline or anything with Manchester United. And the fact that Manchester United have got this money to spend, everybody knows that we can afford players now. So everybody's expectation levels are going up. And this, I think, is why everybody now is tuning into the Bryan and Mbeumo, or maybe even the Victor Gyokeres situation. It is a massive week for Manchester United because of the Victor Gyokeres announcement and because of the Bruno Fernandes announcement. That on top of this news that Manchester United have got so-and-so amount of money to spend already without sales is massive for Manchester United, because Gyokeres' decision is coming this week, and so too is Bruno Fernandes's. So it is a huge week with that money we've got to spend already. On top with them decisions coming, yes, this is massive. And that's why I went with that headline today, because I look at this as being an important week with the signing of Cunha, the Bruno decision, what's happening with our striker, how much money the club are going to invest behind Ruben Amorim, and all the time thinking back to that comment from Ruben Amorim. There is going to be some big changes at Manchester United this summer. So I'm thinking it's not Bruno Fernandes, Bryan and Mbeumo, and that situation where we're at now. Manchester United have made contact with Brentford. The situation is that both Manchester United and Newcastle United have contacted Brentford. Both clubs know of each other club's interest. So United know Newcastle are in, and both clubs are aware of the conditions of the deal and are happy with the conditions of the deal. Okay, so you're thinking, why are we not just making that effort now and going forward and getting this deal over the line? Well, it's simply because Manchester United's money and balance for Bryan and Mbeumo is made up of the sales and not the actual money that's left of that 125 million Matt Keegan is talking about. It's all to do with selling the likes of Garnacho and moving on Antony, maybe Rashford, getting a fee for him as well, which we know and understand is very difficult. But the bonus that United have got is the Sancho situation. If that's rectified, then Alvaro Fernandes. That's give United a real push and incentive to try and get some deals done. The forward line is paramount. And what's being said, what I have been told as well, is that them three signings are the must for Ruben Amorim without fail. It's the 10s and the 9. And then they move on to everything else. The second 10 is brought about, like I said, from sales from other players at United, of which we have got plenty going out. And it is thought, and they are comfortable that they have got the money to buy these players. And I think with them finances that Mike Keegan has said are at United's disposal, I think there is a general confidence money-wise that we can get this deal done. The problem we've got is what we talked about this morning. Bryan Mbeumo's happy to move. Why haven't United moved for him? It's because there's other targets in play, and maybe this is off-putting for a player. He needs to be sold Manchester United, so this is going to be coming down to the likes of Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, Christopher Vival, whoever it may be who's getting involved in this deal, in trying to convince Bryan Mbeumo that Manchester United is the place for him, and not to go to Newcastle, and that what do we call Newcastle? Newcastle is just a runaway train at the moment of happiness and glory, it would seem. Like everything just seems to be going right up there at Newcastle. And it's easy just to think, I'm just going to go to the easy option, which is Champions League football, playing in a team that's settled, a coach that's been there for years now, a fan base right behind them, sellouts every single week. It's an easy move, but it's not Manchester United. It's clear what United have to do to get Bryan Mbeumo in. It's just sell him the future of Manchester United and him being a massive part of it. That is it. And if you've seen Matheus Cunha, and this is why I said before, and this is why this is so big that Matheus Cunha has signed for Manchester United, because Bryan Mbeumo will see that and go, he's gone there, then there really is something going on here. There is something that must be happening, because he's turned down Barcelona, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea. He's turned down a dozen football clubs who have tried to sign him, who are in a better position than what Manchester United are right now. And that is massive, not just for us and getting Cunha, but to attract other players. And this, I think, is where you look at the Bruno Fernandes situation. If Bruno stays, then Bryan Mbeumo looks at that and goes, Bruno's decided to stay at United. Cunha's signed. All of a sudden, there's a little bit of momentum building within the transfer window, and Manchester United are looking appealing again, so out of nowhere. But this is, I think, the big pull to try and keep Bruno and obviously get that signing done for Matheus Cunha. Matheus Cunha is the statement signing of the summer, I feel, because of Manchester United being so poor and him coming in. And I was saying this earlier on in the other video, but Matheus Cunha in so quickly, I think it's like a sales pitch to other footballers. Like any other player that Manchester United is looking to bring in, they'll look at that and go, he could have gone anywhere, but he's gone to United, and this is done quickly. So this is the start of United's window, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, all right, United mean business. And players will look at that. They'll look at the other quality players going. And if Manchester United are offering Bryan and Mbeumo a spot in this side, which is guaranteed pretty much to be playing near enough week in, week out, because of everything else that's being moved around, then that, I think, is where that's where I think Bryan and Mbeumo signs for United. It's like, you're going to play at Old Trafford in front of this fan base who get behind the team no matter what, week in, week out, and be part of turning this club around. This is your time now to shine for Manchester United and be part of the future of this football club. And at 25, how long does he stay at Manchester United? Well, players these days, fit, going into their early 30s. Could he be around for when the new stadium comes about? That's another point as well that Manchester United could sell them with, whether or not the stadium actually happens or not. But you see where I'm going. In trying to sell Man United right now, I think that's where the prospect of signing decent players is for us. It's in that pitch. It's in what Manchester United are trying to build for the future. And that's how you sell Manchester United to these players. And without Champions League football, we're having to do it. And we're having to actually, I feel, go above and beyond to make things happen. I really do. Just a couple of bits on Matheus Cunha as well. Ian Birchall, ex-Wolves assistant manager on Matheus Cunha. He makes magic happen every day. He's a player that plays on his instincts. He doesn't like to spend hours looking through opposition and tactical bits. He likes to feel the game and more play on instincts than anything else. I mean, that there is kind of the player that Manchester United have been crying out for. But again, it still makes you think, doesn't it? He's fitting into a very strict system here with Ruben Amorim. Is Ruben going to just trust in them characteristics of what Matheus Cunha is and let him play in that system? Or is there going to be strict directions for him? It's going to be interesting how the man management side of things comes in with someone like Matheus Cunha as well with Ruben Amorim. Looking forward to seeing that. Wazza has been talking about Matheus Cunha as well. Sharp on the break, makes things happen. Again, people talking about him making things happen out through himself, not just through tactics and systems. He does have that ability to just pull something out the bag. And that's it. Make something happen. United badly need. He raises the level, but lose Bruno without sufficient replacements. That's like changing the tyres on a car with no engine. Again, the loving behind the Bruno Fernandes situation at United at the moment. I think what you're looking at here is I think it's like, you add better quality with Bruno Fernandes. This is how I see everybody talking about it. All of the ex-pros, pundits and people like this, ex-Manchester United players are all saying pretty much the same thing, which is if you add a bit more quality and you've got Bruno Fernandes on top of that, maybe everything starts to sink in. If you've got players with the same instincts and are on the same wavelength as someone like Bruno Fernandes, maybe all of a sudden things start coming together for Manchester United. Maybe you start seeing Manchester United create a little bit more. And I think I've done enough of a sales pitch now, haven't I, with this one. But welcome to the Members Club, MUFC 87, and Ra's in with the first Super Chat of the day. I'm coming to the chat now on this, everybody. Pushing back, goalkeeper is concerning to me. They can improve so much if they replace Onana with someone halfway decent. I'll touch on the goalkeeper next, actually, from all of these reports as well. Gyokeres and Mbeumo. Cinnamon up front. Free replace Onana with a training cone. Top 6 incoming. Like that. Cunha and Mbeumo would make any number 9 look decent, I think. And maybe even Rasmus, who knows? Oh, I don't know. I like Mateta for those two to feed off Prem-proven front three that play delicious football. Again, Gary there with a great comment on Mateta. I was making the point the other day. Why would a player leave somewhere like Crystal Palace? Why would a player go to Manchester United? Because they've got Bruno, because they've got Cunha. And if they're being sold a position in that starting 11, that is appealing. And now you can say that I'm looking at that with red tinted glasses on all you want. And there kind of is a little bit of that in there. But still, that does add something to Manchester United for players when they're looking in. Why would I go there? Well, I'm going there because I want to play with quality players like that. And together we could be part of something big and special at Manchester United. It sounds soppy now, doesn't it? But I'm literally like, this is what players will be looking at. This is what agents will be saying as well. Maybe there is real incentivised contracts in Manchester United's new structure as well. Like, you will be getting more and you will be paid more as you get better and as this team progresses. This has to be how United approach it. I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure of it. But let's get some more comments to see if you agree with me. Cunha, left 10, Gyokeres centre forward, and then Mbeumo, right 10. Angel, that is fire, and I like them emojis. Yep, that definitely would be a force to be reckoned with. I reckon the 125 million is after Cunha. Cunha is before July 1st. The PSR for next year starts on July 1st, 1st of July. So that works out to what we always spend, which is nearly 200 million. If United spend 200 million this summer, I said, what did I say a while ago? Before we actually had the nightmare episode of the Europa League final, I said Manchester United need to spend 200 million if we don't get in the Champions League. If we get into the Champions League, we need to be spending over 300 million. I think 200 million, if you get the right players into that starting 11, I think is sufficient to get United into the top 6. I believe that, I really do. If you gave me Mbeumo and Cunha as your 10s as a start off to this summer, I'd be thinking, we are moving places here. Even with them two in the team, we are miles better than what we was last season. And I know we need more, and I know there's a bigger project at hand here, and there is definitely new room for improvement throughout Manchester United's side. But still, with them two in the side, United are kicking ass. They really are. And we're off to a flyer. But it does need that depth, I think, ready for the next season. So if United do this big push and we get into the top 6, we're back in Europe, maybe we've won an FA Cup and we can get into the Europa League. Maybe we break into the Europa League through getting in the top 6 anyway. There's options there, but we can fully focus on domestic football. I think Manchester United are going to have a hell of a summer, even more so next summer on top of this, particularly if we get into Europe anyway. But by then, I think we will be seeing the back end of the old Man United. I think the likes of Maguire will be drifting out. Casemiro will definitely be gone. There'll be a decision on the likes of, who else was it I was thinking about the other day? Like, obviously, Onana and Højlund, I think, will definitely be gone from Manchester United at that point. Which takes us into the goalkeeping side of things, actually. I'm still going to keep coming through your comments as I go through this, so keep them coming in. I'd take the Villa goalkeeper, even with a 3-match ban straight away. He's only 32. I would take Emi Martinez all day long, Babs. I really would. On the goalkeeping side of things, United are not ignoring the goalkeeper situation. It's just that Onana looks like he's going to be staying. Now, I've said this before, and just to clarify again, United will be selling Bayende and probably Vitek, and that will raise enough funds to go out and buy another goalkeeper for Manchester United, who is going to challenge Onana for the #1 spot. But the word is that goalkeeper is going to be pushed into the #1. They're going to get someone good enough who you could accept is Man United's #1, and Onana would definitely have to sit it out. No complaints from him. Obviously, if you've got a goalkeeper who's performed to the levels that Onana has, who's coming in and demanding more money, even though he's not in the Champions League, I think it's a sign of, right, okay, can we get rid of Onana this summer? Probably not. With what we owe on his contract, with what we owe on his finances in terms of instalments, I don't know if United are paying Onana's instalments in a 3-year period, because at the end of next season, that period will be over and we will owe nothing on Onana. And guessing by the money that we actually do owe, though, and what United need to pay, what United need to get to sell Onana at profit, it's on a 4-year plan, typical of Manchester United. So United getting another payment out the way this summer for Onana, then maybe next summer we could probably afford to sell him cheap. But it is going to be a different setup with Manchester United and the goalkeeping situation next season. It isn't just going to be Onana. And I think whoever comes in, and we know all of the names, we don't need to go through them all again, will be someone who is going to more than challenge Onana. It's aimed at trying to replace him and then maybe sell Onana on when he isn't as, or the payments of his actual transfer are lower than what they are now. That's the aim of the game, really, with Andre Onana. And so it's not like we're forgetting about it, but it's just that Manchester United are looking to, on Rubens' say, and where he needs more, fix the forward line first. That is the be-all and end-all before anything else. So we're not going to hear anything else. There may be little deals going in the background for cheaper players, i.e. younger players, but it's them 3 players, 10s and 9. and then we may possibly move into the 8, which is where I'm going next. Welcome to the Members Club, The Real Roughneck. Love that name. Another great YouTube one. We have the best names here on this channel and YouTube's. Quickly, let's get through a few comments before I move on to that midfield section that we're talking about. The comments will be interesting next season if Onana keeps out his replacement number 2. Now, look, this is the one thing I think people are going to hold Ruben Amorim judgment to. Like, I think, like next season, I won't be happy if Onana's in goal at the start of the season. Ruben's seen what this man is made of. He's seen it in action, right there, close up and in person. And if he feels like this goalkeeper is going to be able to get Manchester United forward, then I'm sorry, Ruben, you're going to be judged next season and you're going to get massive criticism. You get criticism from me because you have an opportunity here to get him out of the football club. So yeah, Jonathan's right in the chat there. The conversations and the chats, the live chats and everything that we do in covering United next season will be extremely interesting and intriguing to see where the fan base's opinions of Ruben Amorim are at, because we know that Onana's useless. We can't really blame him. He's been played by Ruben Amorim. I was critical of Erik ten Hag for doing this with certain things, so it's going to be the same with Ruben. So let's see. He can't do anything now because they're the cards he's been dealt, and he's got this squad of players that are not his. But going into the summer, there's an opportunity, and we know where the biggest improvement is needed at Manchester United, and it's definitely at the back in the goalkeeping situation. The 9s and 10s, yeah, that's simple. The number 8, yeah, we know, desperate. But there is a serious need for a new goalkeeper in between the sticks so he doesn't undo everything and all of the work that has been done this summer in building a team for Ruben that is going to be good enough to play the way he wants. Because Andre will just destroy it in a heartbeat, like literally destroy it. He's not capable of passing out from the back. I'm going to get carried away with Onana here. Ruben, you will be judged. That's where I'm going to leave it. United are going to bring another goalkeeper in, no. The other area of the pitch that Manchester United need to improve on is the midfield. Now, I did a video earlier on which was about Manchester United possibly looking into the loan market. I mentioned my midfielders that we could possibly loan and this situation developing because of this budget and what Manchester United have got to spend. So when you break down, Manchester United signed Cunha, there's half of the money gone. Let's just use this way, use it as what we've got to spend, and Cunha's money has covered half of it. The second half of it could be in the number 9, and then you're looking to sell players then to raise money for another 10, which is Mbeumo. So I reckon United are in the market between 30 and 60 million for another number 9. That, I think, is the budget gone. Then you sell the likes of Garnacho, who's definitely going, and that's going to give you the money to bring in Bryan and Mbeumo. And then you're really scraping around to try and find somebody else of significant value to bring in a real quality number 8. So the loan market was mentioned, which I've gave my opinions of. Douglas Luiz was one we've been linked with. Could we loan him from Juventus with an option to buy, test the waters, not have any commitment to a loanee player like that to come in, Premier League experience. Gonçalves is a midfielder that we talked about. I can't see Hugo Larsson from Frankfurt. I said all of this earlier on the video about where United are actually at with their midfield targets. But I do believe that United are open to a lot of options. And one of them options as well, and there's news coming out this evening about Kobbie Mainoo. The plan is not to sell Kobbie Mainoo, the Muppeteers have said as well. Look, I don't think necessarily Manchester United want to sell Kobbie Mainoo. They want him to be tied down on the contract that they're offering him. United are coming out saying all the right things with Kobbie. And it has been a statement from the get-go as well. We don't want to sell him. But nobody is unsellable at Manchester United. And a player that isn't agreeing a new deal is definitely sellable. That's the story. There's no one pushing him out. There's nobody saying that he isn't good enough for United. In fact, the story on top of Kobbie today is that he is taking on an individual strength and conditioning specialist brought on through Manchester United to help him and condition him into being a midfielder for Manchester United. So where I get that, and I'm happy with that, and that fits what I said, like Kobbie, knuckle down and get into Ruben's side, prove that you should be earning the wages that you think you're on or should be getting. I don't like to transform players. I want them to be their natural player. Like Players who adapt later on in their careers, I get it. It's like Ashley Young and Antonio Valencia converting into fullbacks. Wayne Rooney and Ryan Giggs dropping deeper in their later on in their careers, playing a more holding role, like what Scholes did, dropping deeper. Like, I get it later on, but Cobby's 20. And he came through onto the scene playing in that attacking midfield number 10 role. And that's what you should be harnessing. That's just my own opinion on what football should be. Like, we shouldn't be having to convert a 20-year-old player into a different type of midfielder just because we don't want to go out and spend money. I don't like the fact that Cobby is being played here, there and everywhere, because I think his best position is in 10. But he doesn't have that strength. He doesn't have that burst of pace, that power, and I don't think he has that full-on strength and experience that is necessarily needed right now. Now, Mbeumo and Cunha have that in abundance, and that's what you cannot deny. And Cobby being transformed into, I think, what they're trying to do is transform him into a number 8 type of player, and that I don't like. I would rather go out and buy the best in that position. I think even with Cobby Mainoo working hard and transforming his game, he still doesn't get into that team. I don't see where he fits. And this is what we're talking about now. It's like, yeah, it's great that he's trying to do all this stuff, and we don't want to be selling one of our own. We don't. I still don't like the contract situation, but stick the contract aside for now. He's still got 2 years left to run on his, so no drama. Cobby Mainoo, does he get ahead of Mbeumo? No. Cunha? No. Ahmad? No. Xerxes at the moment has got to fit in. Mason Mount? Final tells me no for Ruben Amorim. So he's what? If Mbeumo comes in, 6th choice as a number 10. So let's move into midfield. And he only comes into midfield, I think, if Bruno is sold. But then again, if Bruno's sold, all that money's there, and there'll be a clamour and an outcry from the fan base for Ineos and Man United to spend this money and not convert Cobby Mainoo into that role. Because where's that Bruno money going to go? That's what will be asked. And then the pressure really starts to mount then, doesn't it? And so Cobby Mainoo, does he fit into the midfield at the moment? Is there anyone ahead of him? Casemiro, Agate, Bruno Fernandes. You could argue Collier, maybe, although I probably think he's ahead of Collier. I'm just not seeing enough from Collier. He hasn't done enough to convince me yet. A tidy player, but I don't see him getting much game time this season. Maybe Collier's one that United could cash in on. I don't like to say that, but if you were offering me, for instance, selling Collier off and keeping Cobby, I would keep Cobby Mainoo all day long. I don't see where Collier fits in. And I don't like to say that. I was hoping for more from him. He's just one of them players that just hasn't really got started. And I don't think the opportunity to start with being out of the Champions League or Europe, in fact, is gonna happen for him. I don't see what game time he gets. I think he could be sent on his way. I wouldn't be surprised if Toby Collier is loaned out by Man United. So that's where Cobby is fitting in. That's how I read the situation anyway. Trying to mould him into an 8 that he's not, which is not good, but still, I think that's United's plan. And this is a plan that I think probably works if Cobby's accepting of it and Bruno stays. That is where I think it's at. I just don't think he's got the engine. I don't think he's got the speed. And I don't think he's got the positional sense to know how to play that role. Now, I'm not saying that Ruben can't coach him into that in the summer. A full pre-season and plenty of time on the training ground to work with Cobby in between games next season because we've got no Europe. That's fine, and I think that works. But the conditioning side and turning the player into a different type of player is not something that I like. I get it at certain levels and certain ages of players, like I said, but with Cobby, nah, I prefer him up in the 10s and fighting for that position, but like we just said, there's no room for him. So it's up to Cobby. Like, do you want to stay and fight for a place and be that cover when we need it? Maybe injuries strike hard and his opportunity comes. Like Garnacho got that this season. The amount of injuries that we had, he was playing week in, week out because we had no one left and he didn't take his opportunity. And then when everyone was back and he wasn't playing well, he spat his dummy out. And that, I think, again, is why Manchester United, in the story that I said earlier on, are looking at maybe a cheaper deal. Why are Manchester United having to sell their players cheaper than what any other football club does? I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold was going on a free transfer to Real Madrid, and now he's now they've got 10 million for him because they want him before the World Cup. And Garnacho is a 20-year-old attacking midfielder for Manchester United who is coming into the prime of his career with bags of potential that we can only sell for, what, 40 million? And that was on the video earlier on as well. I didn't agree with that, but that's because of his performances and his attitude. And that's where Manchester United have fallen behind. There's no cohesion. You've seen what David Beckham was talking about the other night. Last night I think it was, for the final. Sat next to Tom Cruise, of all people. And you've got Tom Cruise looking over while David Beckham just spills out this mass criticism for everything that's going on at Manchester United behind the scenes and how the players are conducting themselves off the pitch. I know that this was a jab at some of Man United's younger players, but this is what you've got to expect when someone like David Beckham says something like this, when Wayne Rooney says something like this. And this is the explanation, I think, that everybody's looking for, or needs, sorry, more to the point, on why Manchester United are selling their players for cheaper than anybody else. It's their attitude. It's the culture of Manchester United that has destroyed these players, because they all came through from the academy or were brought in with high expectations, and then this club has just destroyed them. It's drained the life out of them and given them this personal sort of stance on where they should be and what they should be doing. And we've allowed it to happen. The club is at fault for nearly every single player that has failed at this at Manchester United. And the players have just gone along with it. And they've developed this whole sort of persona about themselves because of Manchester United and how it's been run. And Beckham was bang on the money with what he said, by the way. There's so much. You are representing the badge. You are representing Manchester United first and foremost. And that should be the first thing. Even off the pitch, you know that these players, you know that these fans are travelling from far and wide to come and pay money to watch you play. You need to be conducting yourself in a professional manner. And a lot of this team are just not doing. And I think he was bang on with that there, David Beckham, with them comments. Totally agree with Bex, but to be honest, I would probably agree with everything that Bex said because he's an absolute legend anyway. Right, into the comment section we go. There is tons of chat in right now. Please do get your thoughts in on everything we've spoken about there. We'll get through all of the news again so everyone is completely up to date. We've talked about a lot so far. I can't believe we sold David De Gea for an Arna. We didn't even sell him, we let him go, which is even more criminal. I agree, but Ruben doesn't see it. Our fan base puts too much pressure on Kobe. He's still young. Yeah, but other players that are breaking through and are young are dealing with things differently. It's the United factor. That's what it is. I'm sure of it. Amorim will not give Kobe a chance because he wants this bitch Mason Mount in his starting 11. Look, Mason Mount, don't write Mason Mount off. Like, Mason had an impact for Manchester United towards the back end of last season. I still fully think that he deserved his spot in that final. Where Mason Mount fits in, by the way, he's going to struggle as well. Like, as much as Ruben loves him, we're deliberately buying 210s in a system that plays 210s. And if United spend money this summer, then them players that we spend money on are going to play. They're going to feature. And so that, I think, is something to obviously for Mason Mount to think about as well. Like I said, he's fit, and we've all wanted to see what Mason Mount's about, but I still look at him and think, I don't see where he fits in either. I really don't. And Mbeumo is good, but please remember he comes from a well-functioning team where it is natural, I think, to pass to the best placed man. And Mbeumo won't deliver for Man United as he can do for Brentford. Sad reality. Disagree, Mike, because you're bringing in a player there to work with Ruben Amorim. You're bringing in players that are going to fit into his system. If you've got Cunha, if you've got Mbeumo, if you've got Bruno there as well, you've got Ahmad there as well, you're talking half a team there. And you bring in a striker, more than half a team. Yeah, I think with the defence that we've got, I think Ruben can get more out of this Manchester United. So Mbeumo on his own, I get what you're saying. But Mbeumo with another 4 other players coming in, I disagree. I think he will play well. I think he will be a good signing for United. In fairness, Adam, Kobe is 19 or 20. He should not really be a starter, that's the point. He should just be getting a sprinkle of minutes. We are only in a position with Kobe due to injuries under Ten Hag. And Ten Hag overplaying him. like he did with Garnacho as well. There is the old phrase, if they're good enough, they're old enough, and I understand all of that, but still, when you look at Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho, they are proof that you can overplay youngsters and you can give them too much game time. And that's where the attitude comes from, I think. I've made it and I should be on more. And that's what I think United are fighting against now. Let's see some more coming in here. Garnacho and Mainoo looked like they were going to be superstars when Erik ten Hag was coaching. Too bad that we didn't sell. Too bad we didn't sell them then. You'd have thought though, if they were superstars then, Justin, that they were going to be superstars for Man United, so there was no reason to sell him. Corey didn't sulk like Garner, who got to 20 minutes when ludicrously bought on with only 1 minute to go in the Europa League final. Was it ludicrous that he was brought on with 1 minute to go? Was Kobbie Mainoo playing that well that he deserved to be in that Man United side going into that game? I don't think he was. I don't think any Man United player should be shouting out the amount of minutes that they should have been playing in that final. Nobody has performed well. Bruno wasn't playing well coming into that game. And you know what? There's hardly any Manchester United players in this squad that can even bring up the amount of minutes that they've played and complain about it. And Ruben has stood up to him. So when you complain about Ruben, just remember that the players aren't running the football club anymore. He has stopped it. And all of a sudden, nearly everybody wants out because they're bitching and moaning about everything that they're not getting when they're not earning it. That, I think, is something just to remember as well. Rawls with the super chats. Thank you, buddy, again. Please give the video a like, everybody. We're about to hit 400 live likes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We are on the march. We're already marching above 80,000 and on our way to 90. That is the next target. Paying Mount 250 a week to sit behind Cunha, potentially Mbeumo, Xerxes and Mainoo also there. Ahmad, when he's not right wing back. Yeah, Ross, I get what you're saying now. Mount behind all of them isn't Ruben's fault though. It's Ten Hag's fault, and that recruitment in 2023 when we bought Anana, Mount and Rasmus in. That was a catastrophe of a transfer window. It was. Just going into the news which is floating around as we have been live, just bringing up some snippets and some headlines. Just in from Sky, Damashef from Sky say Manchester United will consider offers for Bruno Fernandes only if he expresses a desire to leave. He hasn't communicated his stance yet. So just to clear everything and where we're at with Bruno again, he has until Friday to make his decision. And Manchester United are leaving it in Bruno's hands. There was a report that Manchester United were leaving it in Bruno's hands because they wanted him to make the decision. Ruben, they know, wants to keep Bruno. So the club haven't gone against Bruno. They've left it with Bruno to decide, and then they will go along with anything. So the club are not getting involved, is what they're trying to say. Ruben wants him to stay. So let's put all the pressure on Bruno Fernandes, shall we? I don't really like that stance from the club, to be honest. I think they need to be a bit clearer with that. Chido Orbit is going to be working with a club-approved personal coach over the summer in order to fast-track his way towards the first team. Again, that there says to me, like, just making sure that there's someone to come in case this transfer window goes wrong. Don't shoot the messenger, please. We're not expecting Chido to be our #1 striker. We're expecting Chido to feature in bits like he should. That's exactly where it should be. Let's see what else we've got in here. Copy pace leaves a lot to be desired, and not sure you can coach pace or train it into a player. You either have it or not. Characteristics, physicality, strength, pace, all of these things that Ruben is looking for in the transfer window this summer. Cobby, I think he's got strength. He's strong. I've got to give him that. He's better on the ball, I think, than what Garnacho is. I think he produces more. I think he's sharper in tight spaces. He's better with the ball. But that's all in that number 10 role, not in an 8. In an 8, you need to control the game in Ruben's system. You are the one that is getting the ball off the centre-backs. You're the one that's driving forward. How many times Ruben said last season, not many people picked up on this, we're struggling to pass between the lines. We need a player that can pass through. That's why they dropped Bruno back, because he can see that pass and has that vision to dissect the opposition. We can't get through the lines. We just don't have the quality Agate cannot do it. He's a destroyer and very limited in passing. I've not seen anything from Collier to say that he is that player either. Casemiro, yes, but getting older, not the future. Bruno, you could say the same. I don't want Bruno to be in Man United's side and just there as an option at number 8 or number 6. It needs to be more. There needs to be more, I feel, in Manchester United, in that midfield area. And that's obviously where that loan comes in. Because I think if they can't get Kobe right, then I think we may go into the loan market. If Bruno stays, that is. If Bruno is sold, then Manchester United's window completely opens up. And I think that is within the midfield area. I think United would go out and buy a first-class midfielder. I think if Bruno goes, United look towards Ederson from Atalanta. I think that's Man United's target. I do believe that he was a player that United will go for. Gonçalves, like we've been talking about recently, is definitely a player that Manchester United, under Amorim, is admired. And I don't know how far down the list he is, priority-wise. Is he the right type of player that we need for the Premier League? Again, that's the question. The midfield options for United are very limited. I said the other day, if United sold Bruno Fernandes, would we be interested in going for Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace? That's a Premier League proven player with years on his side that United would spend a lot of money on. If United had any chance of signing him or got any word from Crystal Palace on Adam Wharton, we would be all in and forget about everybody else. You can guarantee it with Jason Wilcox there, head of recruitment. And Christopher Vivel would not turn that down either. I guarantee he wouldn't. But quickly, just to go over everything that we said at the top of the show, United's balance sheet, United's money that we can spend this summer, approximately 125 million, and then sales on top of that. It's a big week for United because we're going to hear about Victor Gyokeres' decision and where he's going. Bruno Fernandes' decision is coming, and then United can move in whichever direction. I think there are certain transfers which are going to trigger everything which is going on at Manchester United right now. And I do believe that we are going to be in with all the big guns as well. I think United are confident they can sell this football club to any potential player coming in. I really do think that they have got it in them. I think they feel like they've got it in them as well to get these deals done. But it is going to come down to, I think, the likes of Gyokeres deciding, the likes of Bruno Fernandes deciding where he goes, and then we go on from there. And I think that's where we're at right now. Bruno's stance is still deciding on it and what he's going to do. Manchester United are not getting involved. They're leaving it to Bruno. If Bruno says to the club and to Ruben that he wants to leave, Bruno will be sold. United are not going to try and sell Bruno Fernandes. That is where we're at. They're going to try and convert Kobe into a midfielder by the sounds of it. And they're looking at a price a little bit too cheap for Garnacho, I feel. But you tell me in the comment section. I'm going to wrap things up there, everybody, and get on with our evening. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the show. Enjoy what's left of your Sunday evening. Everything is going to go, I think, a bit crazy now, heading into the week. Obviously, the weekend is over. All the football is now finished. So let's see what happens this week. We're expecting them big announcements from the likes of Gyokeres, Bruno. We'll be all over that. In fact, I'll be back with you at 8 o'clock in the morning anyway with your updates on what's happening overnight. I just got a feeling like the night shifts are going to be pretty busy at the moment now with everything going on. But thank you, mods. Excellent job yet again. Thank you, everyone who got involved in the show. Absolute legends, every single one of you. I'll leave you there to your evenings. Have a good one, everyone. And please do pop a like on the video and obviously leave your comments below. Oh, yeah. Subscribe as well, please, everybody. And I will see you all tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock sharp. Be there. I will be. I'm not going to drink too much tonight, I promise you. But yeah, I'll be there in the morning. Cheers, everyone. See you.